Okay, so I'm sorry for the delay. It seems like I have been streaming and the live video was not going up. I hope right now everyone can hear me and see me well. Please let me know in the chat if everything is okay. I will start right again. Sorry for the delay again. Okay, seems like everything is okay. Yeah, I have been right in the middle of my presentation when I realized I didn't click go live. So yeah, there it goes. So welcome everyone. I hope everyone can hear me and see me well. Today, I welcome you to our free webinar on how to use AI to train on your images in order to create AI avatars or replicate some people which you want to train on. And all you can see on the screenshot are the images which I generated using Stable Diffusion and my custom model, which was trained on 9 images of me. All I needed to do is just type prompt, and here I got some good results. So let's get right into it. What we will learn today? Today, our plan is, of course, to cover the basics of AI training using DreamBooth. So we will talk about what is DreamBooth actually, what you need to do to start working with it. We will talk about the basic training pipeline, which steps you need to follow in order to train AI. Also, we will give you some recommendations for parameters for training on people. We will talk about what is a custom checkpoint. And we will talk about how and which styles you should choose for different scenarios. And of course, I will show you some comparisons of results of some different checkpoints and how they perform on Stable Diffusion, and get some tips for training in general and on custom checkpoints. So who are we, basically? My name is Daria. I'm a text trend analyst at Phygital Plus, and I have been one of the most dedicated users of Phygital Plus. For more than 1 year, I have been testing a lot of neural networks and AI tools. I have seen the rise of diffusion models, and I tested DreamBooth when it first came out, so I have been following its development ever since. And I want to share with you that it is not as hard process as it might seem. And I want to show you how you can train AI model right now using a simple interface. And you do not have to get a powerful GPU. You do not need to set up any Colab. All you need to do is just get your images and set up a training and generate it. So if you want to try out Phygital Plus, it is in open alpha. You can go to our website and try it right now. And today we will focus on the AI training using DreamBooth. But first of all, the main question which we want to cover here is why you actually need to use AI training, and do you need to actually? So the question here is, what is the most profitable advantage that you can get by training on people? And one of the most strongest use cases which we have is, of course, training on people. You can train AI on some celebrity or photo model or any person, basically. You can train on their images and then create this person, this character or this celebrity in any scenario. It can be like you can put them in different places, different environments. You can try to make them look like a statue, for instance. You can create posters with them. You can create banners, anything, you name it. All you need is just the photo. And here on the little picture, we can see that on the left, we see the image of stylized. It is an Iranian singer. We took photos of her and around 20 of them. We trained the AI on it, and we were able to replicate the visuals of this person. And we do not need to organize any photo shoot in order to create such realistic results. All we need to do is just type our prompt. So under 1 minute, we can get pretty much anything we want, from posters to photos to images of person in different styles, for instance, in the style of Disney or in the style of Pixar, anything, you name it. With AI training, you also can train on particular character from your cartoon or comics or game, for instance, if you have several references of them. And then you can generate mood boards or storyboards with this person. You can place this person in any environment and create materials for your pipeline, or for your pre-production stage, for your concept stage of pipeline, for anything, you name it. And the same thing goes to product photo shoots. If you have 5 or 6 photos of your product, AI can also be trained on it. And then it will be able to replicate this object, and using simple prompts, you can basically set up any environment and any color. For instance, here we have the photo of a Porsche car, and within 30 minutes, we trained AI on it. And then we just used 4 stable diffusion nodes in our product and created 4 different cars in different places, in different colors. And that's a fairly easy process. So you can replicate it easily. Moreover, it is possible to train AI in particular style. Let's say you have a game and you want to create game assets in this style. So you can use AI training for that as well. For instance, here we have the photo reference of the game called Project Winter Game. And we trained AI on 30 references from this game. Basically, there were only screenshots. And after the training, we are able to replicate any object, any location, any character, any animal in this style. And all you need to do is just type some prompt. And I think it is a powerful tool for game designers, for concept artists, because you do not need to spend much time creating a prototype, building it in 3D, or drawing it. You can let AI do the tedious work for you and focus on creative side of your job. All you need to do is just type some prompt. And covering all these use cases, our team makes a solution for working with training. And we want to make sure that AI training is available to anyone, and that this process is easy for common customers as possible. We know that sometimes it may be difficult for a person who just starts doing AI art. We know that it can be very difficult to set up write web UIs. You need to know how to set up a collab. And sometimes you do not need to spend that much time on it, but sometimes it takes hours in order to just set up a simple web interface. So we understand that sometimes it can be painful. And knowing that, we know that some people also train AI several times. Like one of our clients has trained AI models more than 20 times. And in order to not get overwhelmed with the amount of information you need to remember, with all the information you have about your data sets which you used, and you know that you have to switch between these models, it all can be a little bit overwhelming process. So without train panel, we're basically making it possible for you to focus only on creating and not remembering information, which can be very daunting. So within our Phygital Plus product, you will have all the information about your previous trainings. You can easily share your model. You can easily share the information about setup or dataset which you used. And most commonly used AI tools do not offer that. So we want to make sure that training is accessible to everyone. And now let's get into details. So what is basically DreamBooth? DreamBooth is one of the methods of training AI. And with this method, we basically add information about a particular object, person, or style into the memory of Stable Diffusion. We basically tell the model, hey, look at these images, look at this subject. This is, for instance, Daria Wind. This is Gucci Diana tote bag. This is the style of Project Winter Game. And after some time, AI will train on that. It will remember how this person, this bag, or this game style looked like. And given the right name, we will be able to replicate it using Stable Diffusion. And you have no boundaries here for your creativity. You can train on anything. You can train on cats. You can train on clothes, you can train on shoes, bags, cars, you can train on game styles, you can train on illustration styles, you can even create a model based on brand book images. And of course, you can train on people. And one of the main point here today is, of course, to show you how you can create stunning avatars using training on people. So in order to train AI model, you need to follow 3 basic steps. They're fairly simple, but they are important. And let's start with dataset preparation. It may sound a little bit geeky, but there is nothing too complex here. Basically, you need to select images that include some person on them. And you need to follow certain rules in order to make AI training successful. You need to understand that the result which you get of your images generated in Stable Diffusion highly depend on which images you have trained AI. So here we want to give you some guidelines for photos which you can follow. First of all, you need to have at least 5 or 7 images of a person. It also should be images with only one person in the frame. We also do not recommend to use a full body photo like here on the left, on the top left corner, because AI cannot see your face well there, and then the results may be a little bit worse than you could have expected. We advise to use selfies or portrait photos in that particular reason. Also, the face line should be visible on all of the photos. We also recommend to have photos of different setups, so you have different clothes on them, you have different backgrounds, because if all of your pictures look the same, you will end up with the generations that will look exactly like your images. So if you want more variations, you need to provide this variety in Dataset. Also, the lighting should be good, of course, and for better results, we recommend to crop your images to 512 by 512. And it's better if you use this resolution. Here are the images which we selected for the example today. It's 9 photos of me, and as you can see, I'm the only person in the frame here. And one thing to note is that, for instance, me personally, I wear glasses all the time, so I'm fine with having them on my generations, because then I think I will look more like myself. But if, for instance, you do not want to have any glasses or accessories on your generations, you need to have Dataset without these accessories. If you have 1 or 2 photos in your selected images with the hat on, for instance, or with sunglasses, it will be fine. But if all of your images contain some glasses or some hats, then you should expect them to appear in your final generations. So keep that in mind and make sure that you choose the right images for it. So we selected our photos. What do we have to do next? Next, we have to go to the product. The product is available through the app.phygital.plus. Here you can see the empty workspace with some sidebar on the left. On the left, you can find all the AI tools available. Right now, we need to add AI photo shoot because we want to train AI on a person. We basically click here and a little node appears. A node is a sort of a block which is responsible for a particular task. This node is called AI photo shoot. It is based on DreamBooth, so it is responsible for training AI on photos. We added this node, and now we have to add images to our workspace. We basically click on any blank space with the right-click mouse. Then we choose import files, and it will be added as a little node. We click upload files. We select all the files which we need and quickly connect them to images. So this is basically how the first step is done. You just need to upload the images and connect them to your DreamBooth node. The next step is setting up the right parameters. And here I want to specify what is actually custom checkpoint. I'm not sure if everyone here is aware of the amount of custom checkpoints which are out there, but I think it is important to note that custom checkpoints, they are fairly new to the Stable Diffusion community, but training on them is quite a simple process, but you cannot see this option in many other AI tools. So we want to grant you the opportunity to try creating your AI model based on custom checkpoints. And what is custom checkpoint? It is a Stable Diffusion model which was pre-trained on a particular style. And the most commonly used case here is that people train Stable Diffusion on photorealistic results. They train on photorealistic images which have like high quality, which look stunning, and having the data set of thousands of images which look perfectly for realistic results, they are able to train SD model on it. And of course, they, as the results, they get a model which you can use in your generations or in your training. Generally speaking, pre-trained model like deliberate model or realistic vision model here, for instance, they were trained on many images of photorealistic results. And because of that, it generates images of photorealism way better than common Stable Diffusion model. It allows to prevent some artifacts, and it makes it easier to work with prompts. And overall, using Stable Diffusion custom model is a good way for you to start prompt engineering, because even with short prompts, Stable Diffusion custom models work fine. So what are the advantages of this method? I think here we need to mention two main points. The first one is that we have fewer artifacts. So the number of artifacts can be a little bit overwhelming if we use Stable Diffusion basic standard model. Here on the left, you can see the result of my images training on Stable Diffusion 1.5 model, which is not a custom checkpoint. It is just basic standard model. Anyone who uses Stable Diffusion basically starts from using Stable Diffusion basic model. And on this base model, I tried to generate a portrait of me. And as you can see, there are several things which you do not want to see on the image. First of all, of course, it is additional parts of the body, like why are there two heads? I do not need that. Also, sometimes you can get deformed hands, arms. You can get also like weird eyes. You can get pretty much any deformed part of your body which you do not want to see. And these results are not production ready, of course. So by using a custom model, which is called Edge of Realism, I took the same prompt, I took the same settings which I used to generate with the images on the left, and I tried them on my custom model, which was trained on Edge of Realism model. And as you can see, the results are way, way better. So you can see that there are no additional my heads. There are no artifacts visually. It looks appealing, and the overall image is just more great looking. I can give you another example here. For instance, this is the node with which I created these images. So all the parameters were the same. The prompt, the negative prompt, the seed is also the same, but we get totally different results. And here you can see the face is pretty well presented. Here we can see a little slight artifact on deformed eyes, but we easily fix it with the face restore node. So just by adding additional step to our pipeline, we can create images that look like that, and we can avoid deformed body parts. And here's just another example. It is the same process, I have the same prompt everywhere, I have the same settings. The only thing is different is the model on which we have trained Stable Diffusion. And on the left, we see too many unwanted things. And on the right, images are quite nice, I would say, and look well. So this is one of the reasons why we advise to use custom models. It is, of course, higher quality. The next reason, and I think it is also a very important one if you aim to generate images in various styles, it is better prompting. So the prompt engineering process sometimes is very daunting and difficult and can be like trial and error method, because you need to know which words to use. And when you finally find the prompt which you think performs well on characters, you try it yourself on your model, and it will not give you the great result. So this what happens to me. I created a prompt which is aimed at creating Pixar, Disney, cartoonish-like style. And I tried them with basic stable diffusion model. And as you can see, it tries to go to the cartoonish side. It tries to generate me like a Disney princess. It gives like sort of fairy tale vibes with the background, but it's not even close to what I imagine when I think about cartoonish character. So I tried the same with the same prompt, the same seed, everything, and I tried it with the model Edge of Realism. And as you can see, the results are much better. You can see that there are no artifacts, and it gives better 3D looking like results. And of course, I would prefer that. And the same trend we can see with other models like Epic Realism. We also used the same settings, and we also got much better results just by training on this model. And another example is Realistic Vision. Personally, that's my favorite. Again, same seed, same prompt, same settings. And as you can see, the results are quite different. So how do you train on custom models? How you can go from these results to the results on the right? First of all, you need to ask yourself a question. Which scenarios are you going to generate? If you aim at creating only photorealistic scenario, or you want to have more freedom in creating different styles, you need to choose photorealistic model. If you aim at training on one specific artistic style, like modern Disney, for instance, you need to choose stylized model. You may ask, how do I choose the right model? How do I know which models exist? How do I even get started? And we advise you to visit our AI library page with the custom models. It has the list of all available checkpoints with the basic information you need. You see here that there are several filters which you can use. And for our pipeline here, I am talking about for realistic and stylized model. So if you want to have more freedom, basically click here. You will get the number of the list of stable diffusion checkpoints which are available in Phygital Plus. And you can see the results of images created with these models. And by choosing one of them, you can start and proceed to go to generate. So if you do not want to spend much time trying different checkpoints, we recommend to start with the checkpoint called Edge of Realism. It gives the best results among all other models which we tested. So this is the first advice here. So try using Edge of Realism model. So we have chosen the model which we want to train on. And what we need to do is basically go to the product. Here we have the AI photoshoot node. We chose Edge of Realism model, and we need to choose it from the styles drop-down menu. Basically click here, and you can see all the checkpoints available, and select Edge of Realism. Then you need to fill in the class prompt. And what is the class prompt? It is a setting which is responsible for generating synthetic images. It sounds geeky, but basically what it makes, it provides you consistent results and makes sure that you will get the images of a humanoid, of a woman or a man, and not some other creatures. So by using the right class prompt, you can manipulate the final result. And our best shot here is to use this prompt, which is woman photo, ultra detailed, a photo, HD. We see that here what class prompt basically includes. It includes a gender of a person on which we will be training, our AI photoshoot node, and it includes some keywords which achieve high quality result of photorealism and stable diffusion. So for training on realistic models, we need to use this prompt. If we talk about prompts which we need to use while training on one particular style, let's come back here and choose stylized model. Here we see the all styles available in Phygital Plus, and all of them provide you with only one unique specific style which you will replicate using your AI training. Here we took, for instance, we can take synthwave punk, or let's just proceed with modern Disney style, which is on stable diffusion 1.5. So let's say I want to create a character in the style of modern Disney. I want to be able to produce images of me that would look like in the modern Disney style. What I need to do, and let's just add another node here. We need to connect images, as we remember. And what we need to do here is a little bit different than what I have shown you here. You choose the model in the drop-down menu. Here is modern Disney, and you see it automatically gives you some prompt which you need to use in class prompt, and this is the trigger word for this style modern Disney. So what you need to type here, you need to, instead of underscores which you see here, you need to put down a portrait of a woman or a man if you're training on a man, and that should be enough. So if you train on for realistic results, you use this prompt. If you train on a stylized model, after choosing the style, you will see the keyword appearing here, and you just need to add a portrait of a man or a woman. Yeah, so that's how the process goes. And the next step for training is giving yourself a unique name. Basically, it is the modifier or the identifier of your model, of your style, of your person. So it should include two parts. It should include unique name and the gender. I would highly recommend to use names which are not known to stable diffusion. For instance, if I put down not Daria Wind, and if I put down only Daria, my results may be mixed up with some other Darias that stable diffusion knows. So of course, I would recommend you try and use a unique name, so stable diffusion will give you the best results. In our example here, we can type Daria edge of realism AOR. I would use a woman, just for making it easier for me to remember which model I trained it on. And here I can say Daria Disney, a woman. And here we are basically ready to start our training. We can see that you can try changing some settings and parameters, but the options which you see here are perfect for both use cases. So all you need to do is just press start and wait. All you need to do is just press start and wait. Here is the screenshot if it is easier for you to remember it that way. Basically, we do not change training steps and class images. We only fill in class prompt and subject. And here we have the same. We need to type down class prompt and subject. And after that, we press train. And after some time, you will see that you will get a banner that says that your training was successful. And it says that we need to use stable diffusion node to create further AI images. So let's try doing that. So after the training is done, we need to follow basically two steps. We need to add the node. You can press right click on the workspace and choose generate images and choose stable diffusion 5, or you can basically click on stable diffusion 1.5 here. We need to choose my model. Here, I trained it on Daria era of woman, so I know that this is the name I need to use. I choose this model. I basically copy the subject and put it down in the prompt in stable diffusion. And let's just add some more keywords for getting better results. I will copy here. I just tested how it works and everything was fine. Let's see if this training was successful with this prompt. And while waiting, I can actually copy paste this node, and I can press start again. Every time you launch the node, seed will be randomized. If you do not want it to be randomized, you can just click on the little checkbox here, and by pressing start, you will get only the seed which you chose or which was randomized for you previously. So while waiting, we see that there is a line. Let's just come back here. While waiting for the results, this is just the recap of what I have told you. Basically, choose the model, type the name of the model, and type the rest of the prompt. Here are some quick comparisons of the most popular checkpoints and custom stable diffusion models. And our top favorite is Edge of Realism. And as you can see on the left, there are images which have they also produce photorealistic results, but they are not so visually appealing, at least to my mind. On the right, we can see much more finer detail. We see less artifacts with eyes. We see much more higher detailization on skin, and the overall image looks much more smoother. There is also a very popular checkpoint, which is called realistic vision, and it is also great for training, and it makes the person of the image slightly younger, but overall produces great result. Deliberate model is also one of the top favorites. It is great for training too. It makes the face a little bit slimmer, so make sure that you keep that in mind while using this model. There are no weird eyes, and still it produces somehow recognizable image of a person and performs pretty well. Epic realism is another checkpoint to try. I think it's great for portraits. It makes the skin much more smoother and gives it more 3D volumetric lighting style, I would say. But still, it produces a great result as well. Let's see if our model here has generated. No, not yet. So yeah, that's not a problem. Let's come back here. I have some examples for you. I want to showcase how the model performs on different styles. Remember, I told you that the custom models are better at prompting. And here we can see the comparison on 6 different styles and 6 different prompts. So basically on the left, it is the my base model. I didn't choose any custom checkpoint here. I just trained the basic common stable diffusion model on my photos. And as you can see here, the results are, well, they look like me. I do not mind, everything seems to be okay, but I would be much more happier if the results would be much more visually appealing. So here we can see that using Edge of Realism model, we get much more sophisticated look, I would say, and that by using deliberate model or realistic vision model, we get much more variation in style, and the overall lighting composition of the image looks much better, at least to my mind. Sometimes you can see that I put down the negative prompt, so I use the same prompt everywhere, but sometimes in order to get great results, you need to add negative prompt, and sometimes I just put grumpy because it makes at least images of me way, way better. So we see that, for instance, by using this prompt, the better prompt following is definitely presented much more with the custom checkpoints than with the basic stable diffusion model. Here is another style, which is way much more 2D looking like, which should look like a drawn digital art portrait. And again, the base model on the left, it gives result which kind of look like me, but I would not be picking them up if I had the chance. I would rather get something like this. Again, Edge of Realism, deliberate model, realistic vision model, they follow the prompt better, and they provide much more, I would say, even recognizable results of me, at least to my viewing. And we also can see that the seed and the prompt is everywhere the same. And we can see that some models still aimed at creating photorealistic results, and some models are much more forgiving concerning styles, and they perform well even on drawing styles. Here is the example, for instance, of the cartoonish comics looking like prompt which I used. And as you can see, the variety here is much more visible. You see the results are pretty different with each case, with each custom model. And I would say that some of them give me too much age. But yeah, overall, I would say they still provide the high quality which I expect, and they still produce the image of me. And here is the Disney style, which we have previously observed in our presentation. And here's just like the nodes which present the same result. Sometimes the results are much different even with the same seed. For instance, here we can see on the portrait images, but here the neural network provided us with some full body concepts, and here as well. But here is just some randomness which we cannot avoid. That's totally normal for working with images. And the last style which I want to show is, it is a robotic kind of futuristic-like style. And on the basic model, we see that the model performed quite well in replicating pink hair color, but the results do not look like me anyway, and they do not look like a robot in some of them. With custom models, we see much more variation, and we see much more following the prompt. It tries to make a robot of good quality with like many wires, with many lights on them, which I think is what I was looking for while creating this prompt. So what we have here is some of the examples of how different custom checkpoints perform on different styles. And I highly encourage you to try out yourself, because when you start, you cannot stop. At least that's the case for me. And let's come back to the training on one unique style. Let me recap here that I have told previously that, for instance, if I want to generate images of me in Disney style, I need to choose Disney custom checkpoint and train on it. And in order to generate the same in Stable Diffusion, I need to add a little step to the pipeline. So I need to not only choose the model and type the name of the model, I also need to type the keyword which will trigger the style. Let's come here and let's view it. For instance, if we talk about Sam Does Art style, I trained AI on the style on 9 of my images, and here I chose the model in my models. I typed down the subject, which is Daria Sam Does Arts, a woman, and I typed the word which basically triggers the style to be replicated. If you do not know which words to put here, if you are training on style, again, I highly advise you to use our page on the library, because here you can see that some of the models have keywords, and that means if you're trying to replicate the style, you need to use this keyword in your prompt in order to make it work. So here, for instance, Sam Does Art style triggers the style. Here is the word modern Disney style triggers the style. Here is Soundwave style, and here's ink punk style. All of them were triggered just by putting down the simple 2 words. And here is just a quick example. For instance, a dreamlike art is aimed at replicating sort of digital looking images. And sometimes with training on custom checkpoints, you can get the results which, I don't know why, but AI wants to make me grumpy. I do not want to be grumpy. And of course, just by simply putting it in a negative prompt, I basically get rid of that, and I get images which I pretty like and which I would personally use. And for instance, the use case which I described previously is when I want to generate myself in different scenarios using only one style. I trained AI on the style, and I want to generate some probably scenarios which you could find like in some movie or in some cartoon, or if I want to create a story with myself when I, for instance, drink tea, when I read a book, or when I drive a bike. All I need to do is just to put down a simple prompt. add some more keywords to trigger the style, and get images of me with the objects which I wanted to be presented on the images. So reading books, here, for instance, I wanted to be scared in the dark forest. Here I wanted to be riding a bike. And here, for instance, I wanted to be on the beach. And as you can see, the AI performs well with these kind of tasks. So let's come back here. And another topic which I want to touch upon is writing prompts. I understand that sometimes writing prompts can be a task which is difficult and hard to ignore when you're trying to create custom AI avatars, because in order to get good looking images of you by AI, you need to have a profound prompt. You need to have lengthy prompt, which has the needed amount of keywords in order to replicate the style. So in order to make it easy, we in Phygital Plus implemented 3 tools which allow you to create prompts faster. It is Prompt Extend, it is Artistic Mode, and it is ChatGPT. Coming back here to our product, let's see how we can do that. For instance, here I wanted to get the image of photo of a woman. I do not know which keywords I need to use after that. So in order to be helped, I just used Prompt Extend, and easily I get the needed keywords, the needed setup. I just quickly copied and pasted to the prompt. I added my name and I chose my model, press start, and of course added some basic negative prompt. I get the result of me wearing a white robe. Here's the example how artistic mode performs. Artistic mode is a feature that you can choose to turn on in the settings. It has 4 styles. It can be generating only generally speaking images. For instance, if you are trying to find a good prompt for your object, you need to just press here and do not press any of the 3 options. This mode is called general, and it gives good keywords to your prompt, which will produce much better results. Here, for instance, I used portrait mode because I wanted to create AI portraits of myself. So I just clicked here and I pressed start, and I got the images of me. And I think the high quality of them is not questionable here, at least. Another tool which you can use for prompt engineering in our web interface is ChatGPT. All you need to do is write here your prompt, which you want to take as a basis. You need to press on the magic wand here, improve my prompt, and then it will automatically suggest you a prompt. You also can use the same feature here on the top, on the right down corner. You can type, for instance, here a photo of a woman. Just wait 5 seconds, and you will also get an elaborate prompt. You can copy paste it and paste it into your node. Here I, for instance, created a photo of myself on the beach, and I think they turned out pretty good looking. So this is how you can get basically the process of prompting engineering easy in your process. If you are getting bad results, we do not want you to be scared. We want you to encourage, try out different methods, because sometimes in order to create good results, you do not need to do much. Sometimes you can achieve good results with a simple prompt, but with AI avatars and training on AI, unfortunately, sometimes you need to add more keywords to the prompt in order to make it work, but still using the tools which I have just shown you, you can make this process much easier. So let's see. If we want to generate a portrait of me, here, for instance, I just typed down a simple prompt which included my name and a beautiful portrait. And as you can see, even though it aims at replicating my face pretty well, this is not the result I would expect from stunning AI images. Just by adding more prompts, more keywords to the prompt, I get much more visually appealing image. By typing negative prompt, I get rid of the grumpiness, which I don't like on my images. And by changing resolution to vertical, so basically making height higher than width, I get a much more better result than on square images. And these ones I would consider to be pretty great results. I can save them just by hovering and clicking save. Or I can try to generate the images of the same quality. And in order to do that, I just change seed. I can just click here, and every time I press it, it will generate me a new result. So the process is quite simple. If you tried all of these methods and still none of your images look like you would expect it to be, we encourage you to try to retraining the model again. Sometimes, in order to get the good results, you need to have a much more higher number of training steps, for instance. And in our pricing plans and in our product, you can train AI more than once. So you don't have to worry about losing, like you have only one try and then it is done. You can try it several times. You can easily retrain the model again. Our advice number one is to increase the number of steps. And here we can see how the number of steps influenced the final result of the image. The basic formula which I would advise here is that you take the number of images and multiply it by 170 or 200, and that should give you the result which will make the person on the image recognizable, and it will still be able to generate images of different styles. So if you tried it on basic steps on 1500, try it out on a little bit higher number of steps, and perhaps that will help you to get good results. And briefly, I want to talk about training on objects. Of course, you can train AI on particular object, as I previously have mentioned here, and you can train them as well on custom checkpoint. And actually, it is a little bit of a spoiler because today we are talking only about training on people, but soon we will have more webinars on training on objects and styles. So definitely stay tuned for that. But still, just a quick, brief recap of what happens here. Here we have the example of two trainings. The first training was on a bag, and the second was on a shoe. And as you can see, standard stable diffusion model gives a little bit less consistent results. It replicates the object not so well. For instance, here we can see that the image of the AI-generated image of a shoe looks basically the same like the original photo. But here, the same seed, the same prompt, the same everything here gave much more pinker result. The same happens here. And the same happens with this prompt with the bag. Basically, it even changed the color of the bag, but we didn't ask it in the prompt. So using custom checkpoints for objects training is also one of the ways to improve the result if you are interested in that use case. And as knowing the pain of installing different web UIs and collabs, we understand the experience of training AI can be pretty hard, I would say, pretty difficult. And we want to make this process seamless and understandable. So that's why we created a train panel. It is an ultimate solution which you can use for training anything, for training on objects, character, and styles. It is our product, which has an easy interface. We try to put all the necessary information possible in one place. It is also perfect for teams because sometimes if you need to actually accelerate the process of content creation in the company and want to integrate AI in your pipeline, you need collaborative features like sharing your models, sharing your prompts, viewing the data sets, and all of this is covered in our train panel. It also has the history of all your model settings, and also you can quickly preview the previous data set, the images that were used, on which you, the images on which you trained previous data sets. It says which custom checkpoint you used, if you used any. So it basically provides you with all the necessary information which you need in order to have AI training easy and enjoyable for you. And of course, we wanted to enable everyone to train on any use case, if it is person, if it is object, if it is style. So that's why we created presets of the best parameters for each training. So you do not have to spend much time researching, and you can invest time in creating. So with our AI panel feature, we are going to implement soon also LoRa model training, textual inversions, bias and embeddings, and we are only getting started. And as always, we are glad to have you here, and we are always happy to hear the feedback for all the features that we are implementing. And we hope that our training process, which we described here, was understandable, and that you can replicate what I have shown you with your own images and create stunning avatars yourself. So thank you so much for watching and staying with him. Let's see if we have any questions from the chat. Let me see. Okay, there is a question concerning our team, and we see that someone got inspired by our project and wanted to join us. That's very nice to hear. Do we have any questions? Well, seems like no, but yeah, anyway, all these presentations, parameter settings, you can of course rewatch and try it yourself. And you can always leave in the comment down below some questions which you have, maybe some recommendations, maybe you want to share some of your tips for getting good results, or if you have trained on custom models, which results have you got. All of that you can share in the comment section, and we will be always looking through it, and hopefully we are inspiring you to create more and to be much more creative with Phygital Plus. Thank you so much for staying with us, and that will be it. Hope everyone will have a great evening, and thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in our next videos and next live streams. Thank you so much, everyone.